sweetest friends. This week's Torah portion, Parshas Mishpatim. Last week we read about the giving of the Ten Commandments, how all of Am Yisrael is coming to Har Sinai, how we're so deeply becoming one with the one, the only one, the Rebbe Shalom. In this week's Parsha, basically Moshe is coming down from Har Sinai, and he's beginning to teach us, to learn with us the laws of the Torah. Someone that say the deepest Torah in the world that I heard from my Rebbe Reb Shlomo. You might think Moshe Rabbeinu would teach us about Shabbos, Pesach, Tefillin, who knows, there's so many things to tell us. What's the first thing after Har Sinai Moshe Rabbeinu is telling us? Ki tikne eved ivri. In those days, and some people say it never even really happened, but if someone, God forbid, was very poor and he had no money, he couldn't pay his debts, so he would sell himself to another Jew as a slave. And in those days, it doesn't say, the laws of slavery are not what the slave has to do. It's what the owner has to do. If the owner has one pillow and the slave has none, the owner has to give him the pillow. If the owner has a bed and the slave doesn't have, the owner has to give him his bed. The truth is, the laws of slavery by us Jewish people, the owner is more of a slave to the slave than the slave is to the owner. Because the truth is, the whole thing's there just to help out the slave. And then at the end of 7 years, the slave could go free, or if he wants, he could stay, and then he's free after 50 years on the Yovel. But everybody's asking, so why is this the first thing that we're learning after Mount Sinai? Such a great revelation, this is the first thing we learn. So please open your hearts, because it's so deep. Everybody in life has moments when they can be master over somebody else. Parents, they can be masters over their children. Husbands can be masters over their wives, wives over their husbands. You know what it is to be a good teacher? To be a good teacher is not to make yourself a master, not to make your student into a slave, to have dominion over him, control over him, put the fear in him, A good teacher is somebody, members, who can bring out the best of you, who can give you so much self-confidence, doesn't make you a slave. So this week's Parsha, the message is, don't make anyone ever into a slave. If you think that you are in such a position, you can be a slave over somebody else. If you're a boss and you're a slave over your workers, you're making your workers into slaves. If you're a parent, you're making your children, or a spouse. You didn't stand on Mount Sinai. You didn't get Mount Sinai. Because Mount Sinai is mamash about freedom. It's about giving each other space. About giving each other the space to find our own inner selves, to be in touch with our own deepest self, to know how beautiful, how holy we are, to give each other self-confidence. So my sweetest friends, this week the gates are open. The gates are open to be connected to the highest vision of Mount Sinai, and to begin learning, mamash, how to be so good to each other, how never to put anybody else down, how to be there for your friends, how to be there for your family. And just want to tell you, mamash, I really love you the most in the whole world. And I bless us with so much freedom this Shabbos. By us Jewish people, mamash, that God doesn't want us to make us small. God wants you to be so big. God doesn't want you to bow down to him. God wants you, mamas, to stand up with so much pride. So good to be a Jew. So good to have the Torah. It's so good to have Shabbos. So I'm blessing you, mamas, with the highest, most beautiful Shabbos in the whole world. God bless you. I love you the most. I die. I die. Oh, oh, oh. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat